Hey, this is my new segment. I get to watch videos, and they are things that I haven't seen before, and I get to react to them. So I'm watching a video here by Simon Sinek. Is it Sinek? Okay, I'm watching a video here by Simon Sinek on toxic leaders, performance versus trust. And it'll be interesting to see what Simon has to say. I've watched a lot of stuff from him. I really like what he has to say generally.
I've worked with the Navy SEALs, and I asked them, like,
I want to
how do you
work with the
pick,
Navy
like, the
SEALs.
guys that go on SEAL Team 6, right? Because they're the best, the best, the best, the best. And they drew a graph for me, and on one side they wrote the word performance, and on the other side they wrote the word trust. The way they define the terms is performance on the battlefield and performance off the battlefield. So this is your skills. This is, did you make your quarterly earnings, whatever, however you want to translate it, right? Performance, it's traditional. This is, how are you off the battlefield? What kind of person are you? The way they put it is, I may trust you with my life, but do I trust you with my money and my wife?
So how many people do you know in your company that have excellent work performance? You know, they drive KPIs, they deliver on all kinds of stuff, and then in their personal lives as a human and you interact with them, you don't like them at all. You can't handle them, you don't trust them. They're just monsters, right? I think there's a lot of that in corporate America, where they elevate these people that have high skills, very, very low ethical or social capability to connect with those around them, and they become leaders. It's a problem in corporate America. I see all the time.
This is what they told me. Nobody wants this person, the low performer of low trust, of course. Of course, everybody wants this person, the high performer of high trust, of course. What they learned is that this person, the high performer of low trust, is a toxic leader and a toxic team member.
Oh, okay. So on the XY axis, right? A person that is a high performer, really top of their game, but bottoms out on trust, this is a person that is terrible for your teams. And this goes back to studies. I often refer to Zenger Folkman. It's a consulting firm that works around leadership development, and they have done an analysis around the power of good leaders. And you can directly correlate your earnings and the ability to produce good results to a good leader, somebody that actually inspires their team. And yet consistently we place high performers of low trust in positions of leadership, and then we wonder why we don't see great results. You know, Simon's nailing it here. SEAL teams have figured this out, right? You go into battle, and you got a guy that can maybe be an incredible shooter and fight and kill, but you don't trust him. You don't want that guy behind you. And when you put a life and death situation on that, that becomes a real meaningful, powerful thing. But if you're just thinking about business, maybe you don't really consider the impact of trust on a team and the power that it can have. You know, this is fascinating.
And they would rather have a medium performer of high trust, sometimes even a low performer of high trust, it's a relative scale, over this person. This is the highest performing organization on the planet, and this person is more important than this person.
So the person that is of medium performance but of high trust is far superior on your team than a person that is high performance, low trust. I think we see this iteration take place everywhere, right? Think of the sports teams. I always go with that, right? I watch sports teams, and these sports teams, you'll have some player that is just a phenomenal athlete, and yet not a great team player. Kyrie Irving comes to mind for me. Played for the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. They won a national championship against all odds. It was this amazing thing. Kyrie and LeBron were an amazing matchup, and they beat the unstoppable Golden State Warriors. It was a beautiful thing. It was an astonishing miracle, honestly. Miraculous comeback. And Kyrie takes that win, stacks it up, and goes to Boston, because now he wants to do it on his own. He wants to be the leader that LeBron is. LeBron is literally mentoring him, developing him, hoping to take this young kid and make him into something that he is. And Kyrie wants to step out and do it on his own. This is a guy, high performance, I would say low trust. He does not have teammates that have been able to run around him. He got thrown out of Boston. He moves on, right? He doesn't win. This is what you see. Now, I don't know Kyrie personally, so I'm just kind of giving you a view of what I see from my perspective, which is not intimate with that situation. But these are the type of things that you can look at in the performance of those that move around. LeBron James, he left Cleveland originally because he didn't have a team around him that could support him. He was taking them to the finals but couldn't get far enough. He went, built a team, gave up all kinds of stuff in Miami. He was just really, really hammered for what he did, his move to Miami. Pissed off a million people. But he took a pay cut. He was willing to be a teammate. He was doing whatever he needed to do with whoever would support him to win a championship. He wins 2. He goes back, he wins with Cleveland. Now he's gone to LA to try to win again. He hasn't done it yet. But you know what? He's a guy that has proven he is willing to work with a team, elevate the guys around him, build trust with his teammates, and not rely solely on his performance. It's kind of cool to see that in that situation.
And the problem in business is we have lopsided metrics. We have 1,000,001 metrics to measure someone's performance and negligible to no metrics to measure someone's trustworthiness. And so what we end up doing is promoting or bonusing toxicity in our businesses, which is bad for the long game because it eventually destroys the whole organization. The irony is it's unbelievably easy to find these people. Go to any team and say, who's the asshole? And they'll...
It's the truth, right? It is the truth. Zenger Folkman, in their analysis of leaderships, they do these surveys. They've analyzed, over 1 million leaders across the world, across all companies and corporate structures, and they have discovered that you must have at least competency in 16 areas to be a viable leader. If you have a deficit in one of those 16 areas that is so bad that it overshadows your strengths, people will hate you. They won't follow you. It will have a huge impact on your business. You have to have this level feel of competence. And I think you can think of that. Think of a leader that you love. Think of somebody that you have been inspired by. And you think about the great things that they did for you, right? But if you also think about a leader that you love and really look at them, you know that leader has limitations. You know that they're not perfect. You know that they make mistakes. But you give them grace because they are not incompetent to a level that makes you think, oh my gosh, this person's horrible. You have trust with them. There is a space that allows you to connect because they are holistically helping you. They have not just performance, they have the capacity to make you trust them. And so you follow that leader. And then if you have a bad leader, if you think of that person that you really, really despised as a leader, I promise you, and I think if you look at it really, really clearly, they have some incredible attributes, some incredible skills, but they are overshadowed by the depth of their incompetence in one area, or maybe 2 areas, I don't know, right? This is kind of what he's touching on. We need to start evaluating more holistically the people that we put in positions of power that lead us, that we allow to run our teams. And we are not using the full scope. We are just using this empirical data, which is very finite, and neglecting the emotional component of what is required for a team to thrive, which is support, trust, accountability, the ability to really rely on each other. This is what Simon Sinek's getting at.
They will all point to the same person. Equally, if you go to any team and say, who do you trust more than anybody else? Who's always got your back? And when the chips are down, they will be there with you. They will also all point to the same person. It's the best gifted natural leader who's creating an environment for everybody else to succeed, and they may not be your most individual highest performer. But that person, you better keep them on your team.
Wow. And that's the thing, right? We will often, in our I think, myopic view of how we measure talent and how we measure people that are parts of our teams, we will often default to just pure performance delivery of an individual. And when you do that, you're missing a whole aspect of what it takes to really create an environment where a team is inspired and will follow you. It cannot be done if you don't have the other aspect of trust that is built through ethical behavior, kindness, understanding, connection with others, compassion. These are things that are really, really essential to a powerful leader. And so if you are finding in your company that you're not getting what you want out of your leadership, maybe you might want to go ask their teams who the asshole is on their team, and maybe the team will all point to the leader, and then you can make some changes. Because Simon Sinek makes it really, really clear and really simple how to figure that out. Interesting idea. Anyway, toxic leaders' performance versus trust. Go with the trust, man. You got to have some level of performance to get there. Trust is important. More important than your performance, apparently, according to the Navy SEALs. So, if you like this, I'd love to know if you have experience with trust and performance incongruities in your workspace and what you've done to balance that or what you're encountering right now. Leave some comments below and stick around. I've got another video coming up where I respond to a Gillette commercial. The best a man can get. What's going to happen? Toxic masculinity or good? Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm James Burnham.